Hi everyone, it's Jo and Rebecca here from the ACT Greens, and we wanted to have a quick chat to you today about the right to a healthy environment.
Now, we were really pleased to campaign on this before the 2020 election. We thought introducing a right to a healthy environment for the ACT was really important. We were the first jurisdiction here to have a Human Rights Act in the ACT, but we realised that it was time that we needed a right to a healthy environment. So earlier this year, I took a motion to the Assembly and we passed it, and we've got a bit of progress since then.
We have, and look, there's progress that's happening even globally. So the UN has passed a commitment to the right to the environment, and so we are now looking to be the first jurisdiction to really be exploring this issue. So the ACT government has recently released a discussion paper, and we want to hear what you think about this idea of a right to a healthy environment. We've got submissions that are open to the end of August, and we would love to hear what you think.
Now, this is a really key right at the moment, isn't it, Rebecca? We're in a climate crisis. We all understand this, and we've got a lot of pressures coming through. We've had a pretty ghastly state of the environment report, but we've got a lot of opportunities to do things better. What do you think a right to a healthy environment might do for us?
Yeah, look, I think what the really interesting opportunities are around a right to a healthy environment is it does a couple of things. For me, I think there's a really good connection about how we think about the environment and ourselves as, community members. And so I think there's a really interesting connection with the way that First Nations think about country and the environment in terms of this idea of a right to a healthy environment. The other thing that I think that it does is it makes us think as government about all of the things that we might be doing in the area of environment protection, in terms of pollution, in terms of our urban planning, and really how we think about, what right we need to build in to ensure that we are protecting the environment, not just for us now, today, but also for future generations, which I think is a really key element when we're looking at the impacts of climate change and how we protect this beautiful place we get to call home.
There's quite a few specifics that I'm pretty keen on seeing as a result of a new human right, and we're both new MLAs, so we're new to lawmaking, but we've both been part of that now. What happens when you pass a new law is you have a report in the ACT that tells you if anything is limiting a human right. And so that means when we have a right to a healthy environment, we will know as MLAs before we pass any law that limits that right. We'll know, we'll get a big red flag of maybe stop and have a good think about that. The other thing that's really interesting that I'm seeing around the globe and in different places is people, in particular young people, are really starting to get quite vocal about their rights, and they're using all sorts of tools. They're using advocacy and protest and litigation to really follow through when they think governments and decision makers are doing things that are just going to wipe out their right to a healthy environment in the future. So it's actually going to be really interesting to see what happens here. And I know we've got a lot of very keen advocates here. We've got Green Law and Conservation Council and the EDO who are all very, very keen on seeing this right.
Yeah, so look, we think this is a really important conversation, but we want to involve the rest of the community in that conversation as well. And so, head to the website, the You'll Say website, and we would love to hear your perspectives and views. Both Jo and I will be working really hard on looking at what community views are, and we'd love that you to be part of that too.